This video features interviews with postdoctoral researchers and TTIs, or tenure-track principal investigators, who provide reasons why a postdoc should come to train at the National Cancer Institute's Center for Cancer Research in a TTI lab. While they speak, footage shows examples of what they are talking about, such as PIs and trainees talking with a view of their lab in the background. Fellows and PIs conducting scientific experiments and looking through microscopes, and scientists conversing and collaborating with each other.
For a postdoc, I think the most important thing when they arrive to a TTI lab here is that the barriers to doing great science just don't exist. It's come in, do research.
It's really a phenomenal place to start your career.
An entryway sign that reads NIH National Cancer Institute Center for Cancer Research. Text: launch your postdoc career with a tenure-track investigator at the NCI Center for Cancer Research. Front of NCI building. Text: tumor cell biologist, Troy McEachran, PI.
What TTI is a tenure-track investigator. It's a relatively new investigator.
Text: molecular biologist, Alex Compton, PI.
Someone who is fresh from their postdoctoral training and who is establishing their own lab.
Text: pediatric oncologist, Christine Heskey, PI.
They're setting up with new personnel, new equipment, starting up new projects.
Text: structural biologist, Francis O'Reilly, PI.
So I think the biggest thing in a tenure-track lab is that the PI is in the trenches with you. They're in the lab with you. You're learning stuff directly from them.
Text: one-on-one attention and training.
It is typically a small lab, so there's a lot of opportunity for those postdocs to have a lot of face-to-face time with the PI.
Text: cancer metastasis biologist, Lauren Zemer, postdoc.
That one-on-one attention is kind of happens organically throughout the day, throughout the week.
Showing people how to do techniques and experiments, and there's a lot of interaction and mentoring to help them develop.
Text: your success is their success. Text: development biologist, Aaron Davies, PI.
As a tenure track, I know that my success is really a collective effort that requires lifting up all members of my team.
They need you to be successful so they can be successful, more so than it might be with a more established PI.
Text: structural biologist, Riley Metcalf, postdoc.
And this particularly reflects when it comes to publications.
We need to get papers out, and so do they.
Text: virologist Gwoli Scarlett Shee, postdoc.
They don't want to wait, and you also don't want to wait. You want to publish fast. I've published 3 first author papers, and I also have 5 other papers as co-author.
Text: innovative research, cutting-edge technology.
My boss, as being a young PI, really encourages the use of new technologies and novel instruments in our lab and our research.
That's kind of expected of us as tenure tracks, to be on the cutting edge of science as much as possible.
What that means is that a brand new postdoc in a brand new lab can come in and set up a new protocol with all the available tools that we have at NIH.
The amount of resources you have per lab here is incredible.
The equivalent of any kind of top R1 institution in the US.
At NIH, we can ask the questions that we're most passionate about and have the technology to answer them.
In the TTI lab at CCR, not only will you have stable
Text:
funding and the
time
ability
and
to stay
funding.
in the lab for a relatively extended period of time, but you'll get to spend that time shoulder to shoulder with your PI. You can't find a more stable surrounding to do your work.
The salaries here are very competitive. They're generally more than what you get paid at kind of the equivalent university, and the benefits are also very good.
Text: developmental biologist, Sheen Tao Fan, postdoc.
So we can focus more on our lab work instead of worrying about bills, like credit card bills.
Text: work/life balance. Text: cancer metastasis biologist, Mira Murgai, PI.
When it comes to work-life balance, I think there's a lot of constraints and a lot of pressures on being a postdoc, and those memories of being a postdoc are still very fresh in my mind.
Having trained in the lab of a senior PI, trying to get them to relate sometimes to where you are can be difficult because it's just been a long time. Whereas for me, it's happening in real time at the same time right next to my postdoc, and we're both running off to daycare to pick up our kids with fevers.
Christine on the phone looking at children's drawings and notes on wall that say, "To Mom I love you." Lucy. Text, molecular biologist, Sophia Veriano, postdoc.
It's great to have someone that can understand. I don't think it harms to be with a younger PI.
We're also more likely to provide the right type of advice to the trainees for their own next career steps, just because we ourselves navigated the river of recruitment much more recently.
Text, come launch your career with us.
So working for a young PI really cultivates an energetic and driven environment that allows everyone to succeed.
I am confident that this is actually building a really strong foundation for me to excel in whatever career path I decide to take.
You have the ability to think big and do big, tackle very relevant issues that will move the field forward. There's very few places that you have the opportunity to do that as a postdoc.
The video ends with a montage of all the postdoctoral researchers featured in the video doing various work in the lab. Text, launch your postdoc career with a Tenure-Track Investigator at the NCI Center for Cancer Research. Bullet list, one-on-one attention and training. Your success is their success. Innovative research, cutting-edge technology. Time and funding. Work/life balance. More about our training opportunities at CCR, please visit ccr.cancer.gov/careers.
U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, National Institutes of Health, National Cancer Institute, cancer.gov, 1-800-4-CANCER.